Welcome to the Call to Action podcast. Today we are here with a very special guest. Before we get to him, I am also joined here by the California kid, James Spence. How you doing, James?
That's not that's not my nickname, but I thought I was the very special guest. And before we introduce him, I thought it'd be fitting for the situation to match the crowd.
I wish I knew about this. I left my shades on. But yeah, anyway, we are joined by a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He is Corruption Zone, the Cobra, Chance Ellison. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Always happy to make my rounds in the publicity circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. The first question I wanted to ask you is just how did you discover the Schmoedown and the fan leagues and everything?
How to discover the Schmoedown?
Yeah.
So basically, I've been a fan of Christian and Mark for. I started watching their reviews in 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and then I remember I think it was right before the 2015 tournament. I remember they were hyping it up on the live show, and I was like, what the hell is the Schmoedown? What is this movie trivia competition? So I went back, I looked, I found the 2014 tournament, binged that entire thing in a day, and yeah, from then I was hooked.
Oh, very cool. So how did you go from that to joining the fan leagues?
There was a group of us. We had a reaction league where we just, reacted matches and scored ourselves based on how we did in round one and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
From then, a bunch of us, we created our own trivia league. Then I just started making my rounds in competition circuits, just getting my name out there, dominating everywhere, and eventually Harlow took notice.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
Well, speaking of dominating everywhere, you have a history with a certain rival who we are acquainted with.
Oh yeah.
But before we get there, you had to get to him somehow. So obviously, everyone knows that you got called into the league by let's say Mike Kalinowski.
I did.
Into the Anarchy tournament.
I did.
Following that, you luckily got pulled into singles.
I did.
After Mike, how was that transition for you to not be supported by Kalinowski?
I was always going to have Mike's support whether he's in the ring with me or not. But going in alone, it was definitely a different experience. But granted, I've done several singles matches before this. This is the one. This is my first one on the main stage, so nothing to worry about. It's just relying on yourself more, and that's something I think I can do.
Yeah. Well, you had a very strong row of opponents. I mean, first match, granted, it was a loss, but only by 1 or 2 points to future movie trivia Schmoedown champion Ethan Irwin. Yeah.
Right.
And then the New York Live event against Janine. And then Grease Lightning, Emma Fife.
That's true.
All this leading up to your All this leading up to your longtime rival, Baby Shark Paulo Yama.
I like that.
Is there a certain mindset you're going to that match with? Like saying we're not airing this until before then, so we won't know the results quite yet.
For me, I treat every opponent like they are the toughest bastard in the league. I treat every opponent like they are the top dog. So I'm going. Oyama's no different. I've faced down tougher than him I faced down tougher opponents than Oyama in my second match. So I'm not worried at all.
Have you approached this match any differently, considering how you know him so well?
I definitely have more of an inside track on this one, just because I know Oyama so well. Mm-hmm. So this one, it's a little more inside baseball for me. So I think that gives me a little more of an advantage.
And we are building up your strong rivalry against Paul, but coming from the fan leagues and being a very big fan of the show, were there any matches you had coming into the league that you were looking forward to, or maybe someone or some team or some league that you wanted to get a very good match against that you're actually involved?
That I wanted to get a shot. Matches I wanted to get a shot at. I did want a shot at. I did want a shot at Roka. Roka was the one person I wanted to come in. I wanted to take on in a match, team, singles, whatever. So I was happy I got to do that on my second bout, so that was interesting.
Do you see yourself? I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Do you see yourself continuing in the Schmoedown to the singles tournament? Maybe getting ready to take the cowboy off his horse?
Oh, absolutely. Like regardless of what happens between me and Oyama, which by the way I'm gonna win, you will see me in, unless I have the title, you will see me in that singles tournament.
Mm-hmm. And you are very lucky to have Matt Kalinowski as your teammate bequeathed upon you by the Anarchy tournament. Were there any team matches you were looking forward to? Maybe getting a second shot at Paul again with his new partner, I guess, Eric Zipper, the man who you helped destroy.
I would love it. that was fun. I would love to get a shot at Paul and Zipper. I'd love to get a shot at Time Machine just so I can just take down Janine and Ethan. I want another shot at Ethan. I want another shot at who's the boss, because I feel like that game we just weren't on it, and I really feel, especially seeing what they did against Chicago. Come on, like I know we could take down who's the boss. We just wasn't our day that day. This bottom line, we're gonna take down anybody we need to get our shot at those titles.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're really well on your way. I mean, if you look at it, your only two losses, or you have one loss in singles. That's to Ethan Irwin, who eventually won the tournament, and you lost to Who's the Boss, who also eventually won the tournament. So you've been pretty close up there.
Yeah, well, consistency is everything.
And we are leaning very heavily into this corruption and Mike Kalinowski mindset, because that was probably the luckiest thing to ever happen to the league for a fan to be pulled into not only such a story-driven faction, but also having such a large presence within the league. And a big part of that we're seeing right now is Tim the Tank Franco, with his still yet undefeated record within the league. Like giving us sort of like a behind-the-scenes look. How did you see that going down with and how did your relationship with him lean into that, joining corruption?
My relationship with Tim or with Mike?
Yes.
Okay, with Tim. Yeah, I mean, bringing Tim in, that was a no-brainer. The dude, I mean, we only saw him the one time. But the one time, dude killed it, and we always wanted to get him back. We just needed a way how. And look, corruption provides. Corruption accommodates. Corruption recognizes talent. And Tim's a huge talent. He needed to get back in. He needed to get his feet wet. And that was the way to do it. And look, all respect to the party. Their one win was something just truly spectacular. But at the end of the day, I mean, it was that was a match for Tim and Stacy. That was their match to lose. So there was no situation that they were going to go and they were going to lose that match to those jokers. So, yeah, happy to have Tim on the squad, and trust we're going to be. Look, you're going to have two corruption teams on opposing sides of the bracket in the teams tournaments. So, look, what's going to I'll spoil it for you right now. What's going to end up happening is we're going to each run through our sides, going to meet in the middle, and then one of us is going to, whoever wins that match is going to go and take those belts.
Well, and you've already sort of given it, sort of helped us with the next question, but obviously you guys are now the biggest faction in the league. So where do you see corruption heading in the future, and do you guys see yourselves accomplishing anything bigger? You're obviously going for the singles belt, making a run for the teams belt now against Founding Fathers coming soon. What is the next big plan for corruption?
I'll tell you where we're going. Up. Look, we have spent time recruiting the biggest crop of badasses ever in the Schmoedown. A mix of upcoming talent, veterans, all that good shit. And you know, we're here to just do what no faction has accomplished before. We're here to just get a monopoly on all the belts. I mean, we're going to get those team belts. One of us is going to get the singles. Mike's going to get that IG belt back. San Diego, July. You heard it here first. And maybe we'll recruit Damon so we can get that Star Wars title. So I don't know, but we'll see about that. Point is, we want the belts. We want all the belts, and we will get all the belts.
So a lot of competitors and even also a lot of pro wrestlers have said that the best characters are the ones that take their real personality and just like heighten it. Would you say that's the case with you and your character?
My personality heightened.
Yeah, like you play up your personality more and play
I
up
do.
your.
I do.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, I think this is it's an extension to me. I put all my competitive nature. That's the Cobra. That's what you get on stage. That's what you get on screen. Like I become just someone else in the ring, and whenever I do anything Schmoedown related. So yeah, it's just channeling all my energy into this one thing.
All right.
Well, speaking of your personality, we do have a couple of viewer questions we wanted to get into.
Oh really?
The first one is from, I believe, a buddy of yours.
No, nothing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the first one from a buddy of yours, I believe you know him, Michael Campbell.
I do know Michael.
He says, "Hey, Chance, how are you? That's good to hear. I had a question. When you say your answers into the microphone, why do you use a deeper voice? Is it an intimidation tactic? Does it give you confidence? Have just always been curious. Thanks, Chance. I love you, buddy."
You know, it's a funny thing. I've always had a problem with the way I speak. I always had a problem with the way I talk. I always had a problem with saying things too fast. So every time I play a match, Mike tells me, take your time, breathe, make sure just have a very clear idea of what you're going to say before you say it. So I think that's just a way for me to just be sure. I don't want to say something and just like accidentally say the wrong thing. So if I just, slow it down, take my time, breathe in, and just focus on the answer I'm about to give, yeah, that's why it comes a little deeper. I don't know. Tone of my voice should be the least important thing. You're worrying about Michael. Try sending in some better Patreon questions. No, I'm kidding. I love you, buddy.
We have another question from one of your friends, I think. Henry
Okay.
Sanchez says,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
"Hey, Chance, when is top 5 with Chance Ellison coming back?"
Okay, man, I talked to you about this. Top 5 is coming back. I don't know when this is airing. Next week after this recording, hopefully. Actually, no, not hopefully. It's definitely coming back next week.
Okay. We also have a question from Grayson Rodriguez, who says, "Who do you hang out with most in corruption?"
Who would I hang out with?
Who do you hang out
Who
with
would I
most?
hang out with? Definitely Mike. Like of all the people in corruption, Mike is the one I see the most.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just helps to build. It helps to build the chemistry. It helps us to build our dynamic. Every time, like when we hang out, we throw questions at each other. Just keep ourselves sharp, keep ourselves ready, and I think that just helps. The best teams are teams that have great chemistry. Like you'll see that's true in Schmoedown, that's true in sports, that's true in life. The best teams are the ones that get along the best and know each other the best. Mike and I know each other pretty well, so that's why we're so dangerous in the ring.
Okay. Aaron Spice asks, "What's the must-see place before you die in Arizona?"
In Arizona, the state.
In Arizona, the state. Yeah.
I mean, the easy answer is the Grand Canyon.
I was just gonna say Grand Canyon's in Arizona. So.
I mean, that's a no-brainer answer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one of our other hosts, Dylan, he actually wanted to ask, "What's your game plan going in against Oyama and staying with Founding Fathers?"
So game plan going with Oyama, just I think both are pretty similar. Just take your time, breathe, answer questions. And with Oyama, I have a pretty good gauge of what's probably going to be on the wheels, so I'm going to know what to take, what not to take. Founding Fathers, I know no matter what, consult with Mike, make sure we have a good grasp on what the question is, make sure we have a good grasp on what we think the answer is, and make sure at all times we are on the same page. And I think if you just do that and you just know your stuff, then you're going to come out on top.
And obviously,
there is one final question. Oh, go ahead.
Obviously, you're coming into both these matches confident. Yeah. And which one would you say would be the more satisfying win for you?
More satisfying win?
Mm-hmm.
Probably Oyama, because we've already beaten the founding fathers. I mean, it's not going to be as satisfying to beat the founding fathers a second time as it will be to beat Oyama for the first time.
There is one final question we have here. It's from a viewer named John Stevan Rocha.
Okay, that's interesting.
Maybe you guys are friends. I don't know. He says, yeah, I got a few questions to like to ask him, and it just sort of trails off. Do you have a relationship with this man? I think.
It sounds. It's funny.
Do you have any words you want to give to this very passionate viewer? I guess.
I think my grandfather had a friend by that name. I can't remember. No, wait. I'm sorry. My great grandfather had a friend by that name. But anyways, to Mr. John Stevan Rocha or whatever your name is, kid. Look, I don't know who you are, and honestly, I don't particularly care. Look, maybe you were a hot shit in a league once, but look, it's season 6. It's time for the old dogs to just take a back seat to the new blood coming up, and I'm new blood, and I'm taking over. Corruption's taking over. So that's all there is to it.
There you have it. Strong words from Cobra, James Ellison. Any more questions, James?
I believe that is it. I just look forward to your eventual match against Paul Oyama this Friday. And I don't think it's been announced yet, but whenever you face against Founding Fathers and kick their ass once again, I look forward to shower in the victory of corruption once again.
I look forward to showering in
and Chance, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at ChanceWars_91. Check out my podcast, Notorious by Chance. I do my buddy Russell Howell. It's a fun time. I love doing that show. You can check out my other podcast, PWCA, the podcast without a cool acronym, and check out my YouTube channel, which I'm slowly trying to get back into, Chance the Critic on YouTube, and also watch the Schmoedown. Join the Patreon. Come on.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Temecula Film Guy. That's at TEMECULA Film Guy. You also find us on Twitter at Call to Action Pod.
Yep, you can find me at NatVu on Facebook and also facebook.com/MissMarvel13. I'm barely on Twitter. Probably don't follow me there. But yeah, that's our show. Thank you. Thank you, Chance, for coming along.
Of course.
Peace out.